Hi guys. It's so nice in here. It's a little bit like an evening walk. Um, it's been a little bit since like about a week and a half since I've done one of these because Zeus is, you know, just getting old. So we had a little thing at the doctor. But here we are. And today we're going to talk about business, okay? Um, I I don't know, like humans have this perspective that starting a business is risky, okay? Like, I know you are just thinking about starting a business or starting, right? This is why I really want to mostly talk to my 19-year-old nephew. I don't think that starting a business is risky, okay? In reality, people like you, like young entrepreneurs, don't take risks, right? They do everything in their power to minimize the risks. You know, what is extremely risky is a 9 to 5 job because we only have one life, right? And you might not get to do what is in your heart, right? Getting all your creativity out, it's what's really important, okay? It's not really about the money. It's the purpose of business is to deliver something, to deliver a product or a service that we can bring into this world that is going to improve the world in some kind of way, okay? I love what you're doing. You come up with something, now you're showing it to everybody, you're showing it to other humans, you're getting feedback. You know, I love it. I love what you're doing. That's why I ask you all the time, would you do this for free? Because if you do it for free, that's where your passion is, right? Right? Like we all have something that we know the world needs, you know, and we wanted to bring it to the world. But you know, when you're so distracted and it's because it's hard to focus with these stupid phones, right? You know, like I'm very guilty of it too. You know, you have to stop doom scrolling and intentionally do it, right? And because you waste all your time on the phone. You know, like like I think the most important thing that needs to happen is, oh my God, what are you doing? Is for you to develop some grit, okay? That is what's going to give you the confidence that you need to begin this entrepreneurial journey that you're on. So, how do you develop grit? You develop it by struggling and to learn something new. So you're thinking, hey, I'm going to learn something new, and there's a struggle there. You know, this is why I keep telling you to use ChatGPT like it's a person, not as Google, right? If you just ask ChatGPT to do your homework, you'll become dumber, right? Trust me. I told you they just released these Harvard studies that are proving this. And there's another CDC study that just came out, and that is saying that you guys are the sickest younger generation in the world's history. And here's some stats. 58% of the teens report that they are constantly sad. 32% have thought of killing themselves. Think about that. 24% have planned to kill themselves, and 13% have actually tried to kill themselves. That is so sad, right? We live in America. We have everything, you know, but we have like the sickest generation in history because we unleashed these social media and AI without any neuroscience, right? We don't really learn what's happening in our brain. And we don't really know this addiction that these big companies are trying to get you to buy in, okay? Like the phone is super sexy. It's sexier than anything else. You know, you have access to it 24/7, and that's super dangerous. And if you look around now, you see that some successful tech CEOs are starting to use those dumb phones, the flip phones back, right? And they don't let their kids on social media. What do they know that you don't? Huh? Right? They can see that in a short term, you get the dopamine. So you're getting happy, right? You're getting that hit. But in a long term, you lose that life, right? And, you know, you only have one life. And you can't go back and have a redo. If you don't have the ability to think critically anymore because you are sourcing all your thinking to ChatGPT, you will be like a sad person with dementia. You know, I'm not saying don't interact with ChatGPT. Use it to ask questions and interact it as a human would, but don't replace it for your critical thinking, okay? Remember this. If a product or a service is free, you are the product, okay? All these companies are making money on you, right? Like what do you think? How these social media companies make trillions of dollars? They don't have like any products like before we had oil or gold. You are the product. You are the product. They steal your attention. They steal your data. And they're making billions of dollars where you get more depressed, right? And suicidal. And you procrastinate playing those stupid games inside your house. You don't go outside, right? Go outside in nature. You know, like all our ancestors for thousands of years have lived in a cycle with nature, and now we're like so disconnected and very unhappy. You know, because we're not connected to all that anymore. You know, we are all made from carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. All this stuff came from Big Bang. All of it. We are all made of the same thing. We're all together, and we're all experiencing three things: birth, life, and death. Right? So let's keep the main thing, okay? That life is short and we don't have time to fuck around on our phones. Right? So basically the whole point is that if you make your work and your passion the same thing, like when you start your business, that's a passion, you know, and you're really enjoying your work, you have a really enjoyable, fantastic life. And you probably be better at whatever you're doing, at whatever business you're trying to accomplish, or your career. You know, you'll advance a lot more and make more money. You know, you'll have a happier life, more successful life. You know, don't fall into that money trap where you think you need to make all this money, okay? Because as long as you have a meaningful work and you see progress every day, you are golden, okay? You're good. And that's it. You should be around people that are the best people to teach you, to mentor you, to like that operate in good character, right? They have good character. They have a good capabilities. You know, you should be at a job that has the best people, not who pays you the most. Because, you know, in our family, we don't really have that many successful people that can mentor us, right? You know, so I very much highly recommend that you get into some kind of networks where you can meet some people, some successful people, okay? You know, befriend them and learn from them. Because, like I told you today, like your brain doesn't learn by listening to this video or listening to your parents or listening to other people, or listening to those reels on Instagram. Okay, like do you remember that saying, "It's not what you say, is what you do that matters"? You should say, it's not what you say or hear other people say, it's what you do, and it's what you see what other people are doing. That is how your brain learns. So if you don't have any successful people in your life to mentor you, your brain will never know anything, right? It will never experience that. So how would it know? How would you know to feel how that is? You can watch a million Instagram stories with all these rich people, but your brain will not process what success is. You waste a lot of time talking about it and making all these grandiose statements and plans, but your brain will sabotage you. It will basically sabotage all your efforts because it doesn't believe it. Okay, that's why. Like you heard that saying, you have to see it to believe it, right? So say it out loud with me. I have to see it to believe it, right? So choose the people around you carefully, because if you only see what's around you, like if you only see poverty and everybody around you is always like complaining about not having enough, your brain will learn that is not enough, and then somehow it will turn into you are not enough. I remember I talked about this in another video, and your brain learns that you won't make it. Okay, you'll be stuck, just like other people that are stuck. Like look around you, right? And that's why you got to be careful who you spend your precious time with, because time is money, and you won't have any money, when you're 50 or 60 if you spend that with you don't spend that with intention. Okay, you have to have, like, you have to have a concept of time. Okay, the only the only reason people are not living the lives that they want to live is because they keep feeding the life that they don't want, right? That you give the time and you give the energy to this life that you don't want, right? Remember, you only have a certain amount of energy every single day. You can get a little bit more by meditating, but you can't do anything about time. Okay, you and Elon Musk has the same amount of time in a day. There's only 24 hours. And if you ask successful people, what's the best thing you can do that gets the best outcome, most of them will tell you it's meditation. Yeah, meditation. Yeah, I know. Like you learn to calm yourself down and reflect on what's happened, to understand what reality works. You have to pause and reflect on what can you do if this or that happened, or if this and that happen again. Okay, that's how you get better. You fall and then you reflect on what happened, but without being defensive. And you have to accept that you will fall, right? I told you, like that's okay. Everybody falls. Remember, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's the only way you learn. The lessons learned is learned when you can look at yourself without this ego and say, hey, I messed up. I could have done a better job. It's my fault. And really, really take responsibility for what's going on. When we had trauma in childhood, you learn some coping skills that make things easier for you when that happened, right? But make taking accountability very scary. If you know that and you acknowledge that, you can learn some new skills and it won't be so scary anymore. Okay. If you can't do that because you have like a fragile ego and it's too scary to admit, hi guys, it's too scary to admit that like you did something wrong, right? You know, you're not going to be learning the lesson, and you'll get it again in some other circumstance. And if you don't learn it now, you'll be stuck in a loop of being a victim, right? Like anywhere else you look around you, because you see people that can't admit it, and what did they do? They're kind of stuck. Come here. So that's what happened, right? The only way that you can move forward is to just admit that something's wrong and you need help. Having the best people around you, you can reinforce that, you know. Hold on 1 second. I don't know. Hold on. Oh, goodness. Anyway. It's just really dark. It's okay to ask for help, basically, right? Like, it's okay to be who you are, like exactly who you are. Like, I love you just the way you are. You don't need to be anything else but exactly who you are right now. So it's getting really dark. So that's it for today. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, and don't kill any insects today. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.